In life, it's inevitable that we're going to fail. It's going to happen. We have to understand that we are going to fail.
Be okay with failure, at times to welcome it, because when you experience failure, it means that you are going after something that's important to you.
I've made so many mistakes over the years, and I hope to grow from them every single time.
And we just have to learn from it. We have to deal with it the best we can, and just overcome whatever caused that failure.
We focus on growth and all of that, and I didn't do that myself. I need to just step away for a moment and let myself reflect.
You don't believe that failure is a stepping stone. If you feel failure is something that doesn't fit here, that's a pretty slippery slope.
These failures that you're going to experience throughout your life are because you're pushing towards things that are important to you, and it's an opportunity to overcome that failure. And when you do, it's such a great feeling. That initial disappointment when you fail is okay, but now it's important, okay, just keep that as brief as possible and see if you can rechannel that your focus to a positive thought mindset, so you can think about, okay, what went wrong, why did I fail, okay, and where do I need to have grit. I knew that my end goal was to complete finish the program, okay, get through and be a successful football player at the University of Michigan, and to earn a degree. And it wasn't an easy road to get there, because understanding that everyone, if you're going after things that are important to you, you're going to experience failure, and that's okay. Ask for help. There's going to be people out there that are very willing to offer advice or even just listen. So if you're having struggles, just to talk it out. Sometimes when you talk it out with someone, you're going to be able to it'll give you a map of what you need to do just by sharing those thoughts and feelings with someone that's important to you.
If you don't have failure, I think that means that you have too low of expectations. So I think having high expectations means that you're going to have failures at times. And what do you do from that? You don't think of yourself as that's something bad, but something where you can learn from and get better at. Sometimes people confuse failure with the lack of given abilities and characteristics that we have about ourselves. And not everybody is quite as bright as they would like to be. Not everybody is quite as good looking or athletic as they'd like to be, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. This is what you were given in life, so certainly that should not be held against us. So what I think is that you can use hard work to overcome anything that might be considered a failure in your natural abilities. With my wife at home, I'm not always a perfect husband. I'm a failure at times. I come into school and I think I fail at times. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a terrible teacher. It's just I've got a process I can learn from. So I kind of emphasize hard work and high expectations. And if you have those two things in life, I think, we can do the best with what we're given. And that's all anybody can ever ask about us.
So failure can totally stop you in your tracks. It's something that can deter you, and it's almost like a road detour where you're like, oh, you know what, that's scary, I'm not going to move forward. I'm going to be very honest, when you have those moments of failure and your anxiety heightens and your heart beats a little bit faster, there are still those moments where I have to get in my head and be like, whoa, hey, it's okay. For me, I would let my failure stop me. Presentation I had to give, and I got so nervous, and I stopped dead in my tracks, and I was like, I can't give this presentation today. And I went and sat down, and I could have had that moment of clarity where I stopped myself, allow myself to get out of my head a little bit and move forward. But I didn't allow myself. I let that failure cloud. And when you aim for those home runs every single time, you kind of set yourself up for failure. Not saying that happens every time, but you're focusing on the end product and not the process and the growth, because so often we don't honor our true selves. We don't honor that moment of, hey, I need to take care of both my physical and mental health. And a lot of times failure can stop you. How can you work through that failure and come out the other end still growing? Because that's positive.
Oh, we are all going to fail. I mean, we are all going to fail. Every day we'll probably do something in which we fail. You know, whether it's a test, a quiz, or you said something to someone that you shouldn't have, or you should have said something that you didn't. We're all going to make mistakes. That's life. If life wasn't filled with mistakes, that wouldn't be life at all. Life is good. You know, life is good, and you should just life should be fun. Just give it your best shot and enjoy it. Don't focus so much on always being right, always being on top. Even as an athlete, I was the top runner in my high school, top runner in the city of Grand Rapids as a distance runner. I got to CMU. Everybody was the top runner from their high school. Oh, I failed many times at CMU. I failed many times as a parent. I failed many times as a wife, as a daughter, as a sister. You know, I failed many times. You just have to get up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and keep going. I don't think we should be so hard on ourselves about failure. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect. Can't be perfect. We can strive to do the best to our ability with the time that we have wherever we are on that day. But none of us will ever be perfect. You got to give yourself some breaks and things like that. Just do the best you can.
I try to play professional golf for a living, and I guess by definition I failed because I'm not doing that. Could there be things that could be learned from that? Absolutely, but I didn't know where to take that. I think the failures I'm probably more familiar with would be interpersonal failures. Like long term, it would be my inability to deal with my emotions previous to me thinking, as well as my inability to kind of control my need to make things perfect. Put yourself in a situation where you might fail. Don't safeguard, right? Push yourself to the limit, to a point where you fail, and then you're going to start to find ways of getting better. If you always stay in the safe zone, in the success zone, you might be a success at one level, and you're going to get stuck at that level, and you're not going to find that next level that you can get to, whatever it is that we're talking about. Learning from failure, from being lazy, learning from failure of procrastinating. It's very seldom that we push people to a point where it's truly failure because of their inability to understand or bring in the information. Sure, how much your ability to invent solutions are going to arise out of nothing but success, because you've already made it. Why would you want to change? You don't have to change, you're winning, you know? So I think failure is paramount to learning.